What is up, Juju Gang? Happy Monday. Hope everyone's doing well. A little bit of a surprise live stream. I thought we'd go live. I had some time for a little bit here. I'm not sure how long I'll be live for, but I appreciate you guys joining me on a random Monday live stream. I appreciate everyone in the chat as well. Sean, Hadouken, let me know if my audio is coming in clear, and let me know where you guys are tuning in from, city, state, country, whatever you guys feel comfortable. Sharon, Nate, yeah, no kidding. Crest, Sanju, how's it going? Our awesome mods, Steven, Hillary, Karsten, appreciate the jujus in the chat. There we go. Karsten, appreciate the jujus in the chat. There we go. Oops, don't want that to be live here. Hold on, let me just turn that off. Ooh, okay, awesome. Baltimore, Northern Ireland, Epigenetics, how's it going? Dallas, Texas. Why the sad face? Dallas is awesome. 142.64 sitting on Tesla. So before, and I'll read out some places here in a second as they pile up. But one thing I wanted to say, and I got a video from CNBC lined up today. The options order flow, I'll kind of give you the fair forewarning now. The bull side, call side premium that we were seeing on Friday's stream, that I was like, hey, this is looking good ending the week. Did you guys know if you guys, let me know if you guys saw that stream on Friday. That's now dissipated for all intents and purposes, right? So those calls that have been racking up for the last day or two here have now essentially been sold out. Some put buying coming in as well. So we're now at pretty much a nothing burger. And the reason why this, I think, is still telling is because if we go to the daily and on the super trend indicator on TradingView, you'll see as we stand right now, we have to close above this. The 140 level is very, very strong. It's going to be a level to look at in the next hour here to see if we'll close above it or not. Because you have to go back to September on the super trend indicator for us to be at a buy. And prior to that, and that was only for a hot second even, and prior to that, it was July. So this super trend indicator doesn't turn bullish for Tesla often, or at least it has in the last year or so. But this 140 level, believe it or not, is very telling. And this is on the daily. So for us, if you're a bear listening to this might be a good pivot level for you to look at short term if you still believe that we have downside room to go. The 140 level will be hard, but closing above it is kind of the key in my opinion. So we shall see. Let me pull up some comments now. Compton, how's it going? Paco, how's it going? Juju indeed. Thank you, David. So many members, so many awesome members of the Juju gang in here. Appreciate all you guys' support, whether it's on Patreon, YouTube membership, whatever it is. And feel free to connect your accounts to Discord as well. We have an awesome community in there. Bring the good juju. Messi, how's it going from Montreal? Habs fan. I should turn into a Habs fan at this point with the way that the Canucks are playing. Let me pull up the stock here. Mark from Nunavut. Hey, Mark. Awesome to get to chat with you on Twitter. And again, Nunavut's on my list. Infinite Juju, Toronto, Yuma, Arizona. How's it going, Scott? South Africa, North Carolina. Eric says clearest explanation for this day is Elon's tweets. Well, we'll go through it here in a second. Calgary, Michigan, UK, Plymouth, UK, Aruba. Hope you're enjoying the sun there. Monterey Park. Sean, how's it going, my friend? Service, Yashu, Austria. There we go. Michael, how's it going, my friend? Okay, I'm gonna attempt this. Staffordshire, UK. How's that? Norway, Monte Cristo. Man, we got people from everywhere. Norway, how's it going, John? Monte Cristi, Ecuador. How's that? Germany, how's it going, folks? Awesome. Appreciate you guys throwing that in. Colorado Springs, Belina, how's it going? Paul, Yorktown, Toronto, Scotland, Fremont, Austin, near Texas. There we go. Milwaukee, Sweden, Pittsburgh, UK. Yes, so we'll actually talk about that. Sweden as well. So Wall Street must love the idea of MrBeast taking helm at Twitter. Okay, so if you haven't heard, I think this is probably appropriate for us to go through at this point. Let me pull up my Chrome. If you haven't heard, the kind of news of the day is a little bit funny in the respect that MrBeast has officially changed his Twitter bio to a Twitter super official CEO. And now what's funny, if you don't know the backstory on this, is that MrBeast tweeted at Elon once and said, hey, can I become Twitter CEO if the elites pretty much banish you to the afterlife? And he said, sure. And everyone actually earnestly has also said, hey, MrBeast actually probably wouldn't make a bad CEO for Twitter. I'd love to get your thoughts in the chat. Yes or no? Do you agree Would you agree with Mr. Beast being the Twitter CEO? Yes or no? I'm going to give you my answer. I'm going to say yes. This guy, he's like, what, 24 years old. He's built a huge audience. He has the business acumen. Why not? And selfishly speaking, I would love for Elon to go back to Tesla more full time. But there's probably, the one downside I do see with MrBeast is he wouldn't, to my knowledge, have the technical chops, at least that I know, like Elon would. Elon has the engineering background, but okay, almost everyone is saying yes. Too many fellows is actually saying no. Yes, 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 yes. Gut says yes. Now, how much of our yes reaction is just us wanting Elon back at Tesla full time? Yes, not CEO, but perhaps on the board. Okay, fair enough. Shire is pronounced share. Stratford share. Ah, there we go. Thank you, Hillary. Learned something new today. Steven, how's it going, my friend? On a Monday for the win. Yes, I know. Impromptu live stream. I was working on a campaign on the back end, working here. And I was sitting, I was like looking through my campaigns. I was onboarding a new marketing campaign that I was setting up. And I was like, I can't stop looking at the stock price. Whenever I continue to look at stock price at that point, I realized I might as well just go live. It's the inception of the channel anyways, right? Yes. Okay. So that's one piece of news here. We got the CNBC video lined up. We'll watch that here in a second. 142.09 sitting on Tesla. And I wanted to go through some of the say questions on Twitter, or pardon me, on Tesla earnings. Wow. I just said Twitter. Can you believe that? Hold on. So I'll go through some of the questions here. The top question, sorted by most shares by our anonymous retail. Actually, hold on one sec. Let me just move this right here. Is after the recent price cuts, analysts released expectations that Tesla automotive gross margin X leases and ZEV credits will drop below 20%, an average selling price around $47,000 across the globes. Where do you see average selling price and gross margins after the price cuts? This is, of course I want to know the answer to this question, but I feel like this is jumping the gun a little bit. How can they possibly guide on this when first of all, they don't guide officially. And second of all, this is just a 1 quarter away answer. We'll get our answer in April. So although I get it, this is a short-term answer, a 1 quarter answer that, if we just wait to April, we'll find out for. The worst thing, by the way, here would be if they answer this and they said, oh, we're still expecting a 25% gross margin, and then it comes in at like 23. And then of course everyone knows what happens there post earnings. Well, Tesla in the second highest voted question with 2.1 million Tesla shares represented. I haven't voted on this yet. Not that it's going to make a difference, but I encourage everyone to vote if they want. It's at saytechnologies.com. Will Tesla be able to take full advantage of the advanced manufacturing production credits for battery cells packs 3,700? Imagine that if it's 37,000 for the long range 3Y, and $45 a kilowatt hour for 82 kilowatt packs for auto and energy products. And how much does Tesla expect to earn in the coming year from these credits? Very pointed, very direct. I think Bradford Ferguson from Halter Ferguson Financial, friend of the show, has done an awesome calculation based on this. I think he has it on his YouTube channel and on his Twitter from the past. So to his estimation, I think it's a couple billion, right? Someone in the comments might know. The third highest voted question is, and again, if these are up here, they're going to get answered, or not answered, but they're going to get shown to management. Please provide a detailed explanation of where you are on the 46 ramp. What are the current roadblocks? DBE. When do you expect T to scale to 10,000 vehicles a week? Very, very important question here about the 4680s. What are the current roadblocks? I'd imagine Drew Baglino would be the one to answer this. It sounds like DBE would be the answer here. What's volume today? Volume is oh wow. Hold on. Is this right? That's a really insane volume. 171 million shares traded today. Is that right? I didn't actually look at the volume until now. Thanks for asking. Institutions buying in. 171 million shares traded. Hold on. Let me just check the daily to see how high is this compared to. Okay. Well, in a relative speaking form in the last 5-ish days, it fares okay. It fares nicely. It's not an outstanding amount of volume, but it's pretty high. Why is Tesla going down? Well, like I said, the 140 level that I pointed out at the beginning of the stream on TradingView, that super trend indicator is quite the slap. It's going to be met with a lot of sellers at that level, but closing above that level would be very bullish. That level is going to be a strong level. Actually, I remember our super trend indicator that I was talking about months and months ago. I feel like it was last July. Hold on, let me just see here. We broke above it for a hot second. Where is it? Yeah, actually, no, sorry. It was the September TradingView indicator when I pulled up. This is on TradingView, by the way. I pay for it annually. I'm not, but I think you can get this for free. As soon as we broke that trend, though, or broke into what was a buy signal on the super trend, we immediately got slapped off. And I think what happened was there was a CPI report that came out super hot in September. Might have been a CPI or some sort of data report came out. Maybe it was a jobs report. I forget. But we got slapped off of this level right when we broke it. So, of course, that always carries that risk. But these levels are hard for a reason. 141.52 sitting on Tesla. Tesla buying back? I don't think so. That's going to be an interesting one to look for, but Tesla buybacks, I mean, throw in the chat. When do you think Tesla does buybacks, if they do it at all? I think it's a conversation that's going to be had at the April, May, June, at the July earnings call. I think that's my going thesis, is that the July earnings call, perhaps we get an announcement then, barring that there's no massive recession, if you know what Elon says. Ibrahim says a single piece gigacasting isn't viable, by the way, with the structural battery pack. Well, it's going to be two front and rear, right? Since the metal will be pressed from one end and the thin part in the middle will cause problems at the two end. I can elaborate further if you want. Well, I think the going thesis, it's not a single piece casting yet. It's going to be a dual front and rear, and then structural battery pack for the 4680. But I think what the question, if you're talking about the Say Technologies question, I think that question really refers to is DBE, the dry battery electrode process, and the cost cutting there with all the time. Oh, that's cool. Used to work as a casting shop. Very cool. Good background to have. Appreciate that. Ganeshan says, Yashu, is there any referral program now when you purchase a Tesla? Okay, so I actually needed to look into this because apparently, obviously it's back now. I haven't looked at it since it's been back. I'm going to pull up my app though. And how do I, hold on, referral. Add, remove product, sign out, loot box, order now. Oh, share your referral link. Okay, yes. To date, I think I've only had 2 or 3 referrals ever. But apparently there are. And apparently what excited me last night is I saw a point system, and I haven't looked into it yet. But apparently you can, if you refer like 20 people, you get FSD or enhanced autopilot. I think that's a great incentive. Software doesn't cost Tesla anything. It's a great way for them to essentially give things out for free that have a real world value, right? But no real world cost. Can't see it happening this year, says Dominic, with the buybacks. Buybacks earlier, Michael says Q3. I think that's all right. I think that's a good expectation. Earliest Q3. And also, you guys know my thoughts on the buyback. Buybacks aren't going to save anything. Ganesh says, I would like to nominate you as my referrer. Can I do that? Wow, that's very nice of you. Thank you. You can. If you haven't ordered it yet, if I give you my link, you should be able to. If you can Twitter DM me, I'll send you my link. I appreciate that. Thank you. I forget how it works though. If you've already ordered it, there might be a way for your rep to put it in. I don't even think I get. Does anyone know? Do you get supercharging miles still on that? Because I don't know if you do, but thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Purchasing a Model Y. Congrats. You're gonna love it. Oh, you just paid the deposit. Nice. Okay. Well, in that case, you probably want to hit up your sales rep, and then when I send you the link, I think my like username code will be in there or whatever, and then you can do it. Stop talking about buyback BS. It's not going to happen. Well, first of all, Elon has said it's going to happen. He said at least 10 billion, right? Is what he said next year or this year, this fiscal year. So it's not really me pulling out of my butt. It's literally, quite literally, Elon saying it's going to happen this year. Now you don't have to believe him, and that's why we're talking about timing for it. Referral program is not a thing for auto now, just solar. Really, Matthew? Really? Talk to your sales rep. I actually don't have the answers for this, but interesting. Thanks, Matthew. Awesome. Okay, so 142 sitting on Tesla at the moment, up. Oops, what happened here? Up 6.5%. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up CNBC. I'm going to, hold on a sec here. Let's watch. They just had a video out today on what Tesla should invest from investors should expect from Q4 earnings. Let's take a listen. Let me know if the audio is coming in okay.
Tesla's big week is Tim Higgins, Wall Street Journal reporter and a CNBC contributor. Good morning to you. What do you think we should be expecting, Tim? And as you've been talking to all of the sort of investor community and those around Tesla, what are you hearing?
Well, it's probably a record. I mean, a record profit for the quarter. But really, what analysts and investors are going to be looking for is that kind of excitement for the rest of the year. Can the company do 50% sales growth as it's been talking about in the past? Now, it missed that target last year, and that was a big hit to the stock, a big hit to the kind of the reputation of the company. So going into
There's a big hit to the reputation of the company.
This week, it's really all about the future. Can Tesla get back to that growth stock story that it has fueled that excitement for so many years?
How much of the fall off in terms of where the stock is, do you think is a function of the macro, which is to say, obviously, the multiple on tech stocks across the board has come down? How much of it actually is the growth story at Tesla, and how much of it is, do you think, the anxiety or nervousness? I don't know if you just think it's headlines about it, about Elon Musk's attention on Twitter, if you believe that that's taking away from his attention on Tesla.
It seems to be a mixture of all three. Clearly, the company didn't perform as promised, and that's an issue. You got the macro issues that we've talked about. But, it also comes down to Elon seems to be distracted, and perception is reality, and that kind of reality for Elon at this moment is that a lot of investors have this perception that he's maybe his hands are not on the wheel, and then he's been distracted with Twitter in the last 3 months. So one of the things investors are looking for this week and the weeks to come is this idea that he's re-engaged at Tesla, and that that the company can be prepared for the possibility of recession this year.
And I think the question, though, is, given your own reporting, is that the case? Meaning, is he focused more on Twitter these days? And even if he is focused on Twitter, one of the things that's so interesting is he's had a management team, same management team at Tesla. I mean, there has obviously been turnover over the years, but the current team is the same team. And you look over at SpaceX, Gwynne Shotwell's been managing that business. So how much is the investor community supposed to take away from his personal involvement or personal attention on one specific company at a time?
Well, it's very hard to understand exactly how he prioritizes things in his mind. I mean, the average person couldn't handle running 3 companies. He's not the average person, right? So, to kind of the idea of what his engagement level is tough. He would say, and he has said, that he's still engaged in Tesla, and that the signals are that the Twitter is going to be almost kind of a hobby for him. But still, investors out there are concerned, and they've been airing those concerns in a rather remarkable way over the last few weeks, asking him to get back into the seat at Tesla, to put Twitter.
This narrative, this is quite an old narrative at this point. No, like it seems like this is not the going thesis around short selling or short sellers of Tesla. It's no longer about Twitter. It was when it was cool. At this point now, it's about, hey, they're not going to be able to grow 10% a year, 20% a year anymore. You know, that's where the going bear thesis is, I think.
Twitter in the hands of another CEO.
Joining us to talk about Tesla's big week is...
That's a very... I don't know. That's a very elementary analysis, in my opinion. It's okay. I mean, whatever. It's fine. Just, you know, I think I would have been more intrigued by analysis there if it was more around something around specifics about China or demand or something like that. But it just seems like they needed a segment there. I won't bother even clipping that. 142.36 said non-Tesla. You know what? So here's my video idea. I'll fill you guys in on this. My video idea and I wanted to record this yesterday, but I just didn't get any time. My next video idea is going to be, and by the way, I really appreciate the feedback that I got off of my narrated videos. So I did a narrated video on Tesla PEG ratio. And I didn't do it the classic one take style. I did it more of multi takes and I edited it down and I got good feedback on it. So I'll try to do more of that. But my next video idea was going to be about Tesla advertising and should Tesla advertise. And I was going to go into, first of all, explaining how Tesla is one of the only companies in the world that hasn't spent $1 in marketing. Sriracha being another one, right? And whether or not they should advertise, is there a direct correlation? And I think coming from someone with a marketing background, you know, if I run ads for businesses, accounting businesses, real estate, e-commerce websites, spend a lot of money, let's say online, I can hopefully give some insight into whether or not I think it's worth Tesla's while to spend any money on it. And what kind of campaigns that I would run if I was Tesla, you know, and I'll kind of spill the beans a little bit to you here since you're watching live. But it'd be remarketing ads. That's what I would run off of Tesla. Thank you. Appreciate that, SLPC. Thank you. It's, you know, I think it's a hot topic, but it's a hot topic item right now. Should Tesla advertise? And I'm kind of on the boat. Hey, Tesla should spend $5 or $10 million a year in advertising. What's $5 or $10 million a year? And as V said up there, when the Super Bowl ads ran for electric cars, Tesla saw a direct correlation with the order book. Now, if you see a direct correlation with the order book from competitors running ads, I think Tesla should run ads as well. Let me know if you guys disagree. Remarketing and lookalike. Yeah, lookalike maybe, but Tesla probably has so much data on their first party cookies that just running remarketing campaigns on YouTube, on Twitter is a little bit I'm still of the mind that Tesla should not run any Twitter ads. The optics of it would not look good. Twitter is, let's say, quote unquote, the mainstream media says a sinking ship, financially speaking. And then all of a sudden, Tesla starts running ads on Twitter to kind of, you know, pump up their books. I just feel like it would look too much like a handout. Maybe when Twitter is cash flow positive and really doesn't need anyone, then it can be kind of like a cherry on top. Matt, how's it going? Friend of the show, Good Soil, YouTube channel as well. Matt, by the way, is coming on the show Friday. So give it up for Matt. Matt says, this really shouldn't be a hot button issue. Why not just try it so we can gather or we can have better data on advertising? Look, I think because, and this is my take on it, let me know if you guys disagree with this, but I think the reason is it's quite simple. If I'm Elon and I've created one of the biggest companies in the world, however you want to measure, let's say market cap wise, like top 5 in the market cap for stocks, over $1 trillion valuation. And I've done it with $0 in advertising and just letting the product speak for itself. That's insane. I work with companies, businesses that have to spend money every single month to get even $1 of revenue. If they didn't spend money on ads, they wouldn't make any money. Maybe the odd referral here and there. And that's not because their product is bad, by the way. I think there's a notion in the market that there's like, oh, well, businesses that have to advertise are not good businesses. They don't have good products. That's not true. Not everyone that opens up corner stores is going to start getting foot traffic. Not every online store that people open is going to start getting SEO, search engine, organic traffic. People need to run ads, and that's totally normal. But like you said, Matt, on your tweet, if there's a direct correlation with the Super Bowl running ads, with insert GM Ford, whatever, running ads, and Tesla's order book going up, why not spend a drop in the bucket on it? Julie says they should run ads once per year. Buy the whole ad slot going into the Super Bowl every year. Imagine that. How much would that cost if they bought the entire ad slot for one of the commercials, one of the intermissions? The 4 P's of marketing, bringing me back to university, Hadouken. Product, price, place, and promotion. I feel like there's 1 P missing out of there. I'm just kidding. Just advertise the facts. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Just advertise education, safety. Safety is the biggest thing for me, right? When people talk about Tesla cars, yeah, they're fun, whatever. But really, I mean, at the end of the day, the safety is what differentiates it, right? Digital saying I'm on board for strategic ads. Cindy says Elon liked a 1984 Apple ad the other day. Interesting. I like it. Would I do a collab with James? James has been on the channel, actually, and I've reached out to him recently to get him back on. But just timing's a little bit hard for us. But James is always welcome on the channel. He knows that. Bradford, how's it going, my friend? They don't even run ads in the millions of dollars. They should just test it small, for sure. So here's my thought process a little bit on this, on the ad side. Sorry, whenever I talk about ads, I always start nerding out. So I apologize in advance. If Tesla sets up a referral program like they have today, but instead of sending people to here's a product page, click here to reserve or whatever, they just have a cookie for referrals, and they set up a proper referral program with a first-party cookie on Tesla's site for tokens of Tesla owners, let's say, and they run it to the general homepage, and they do a 30-day cookie on it, and then they run remarketing ads on safety, because Tesla has a lot of good videos on safety, right? The stuff they've done with engineering, the crash tests, the software updates that they've done for safety, and they just remarket based on that. And they incentivize based on monetary, right? Well, maybe that opens up a legal thing, but maybe they monetize on supercharging miles or something like that. It can be quantifiable at that point. Right now, to my knowledge, the referral program, even actually someone said here that you can't even run for auto. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but in the past, it used to be for running for supercharging miles, right? And it would run to a page that wasn't really aesthetically pleasing, and it was just kind of like a bland page that they would run people to. So I think they should do more of a classic referral affiliate style program for their marketing. I guess playing devil's advocate here mentally, even, I guess they would say they don't really want it to be like a hugely profitable thing for people to refer, because then the focus of it would be on the referral and not really on the product. But I think there's an elegant way to do this that would essentially incentivize me to talk with family or friends and want to invest the time in them, because when they did eventually end up buying or end up reserving a car, I would get supercharging miles or free XYZ merch, or I don't know what it would be, but something like that. Jay says no need to advertise unless their growth slows materially. They will be at capacity constraint this year anyway. Anyways, well, I think a lot of people would, especially on the street, would disagree with that sentiment. They would say Berlin and Austin are coming online. Prices have gone down. Prices are a direct piece of evidence that obviously they were not going to be selling all of their fleet if they didn't lower prices. The price lowering in and of itself shows you that demand at those levels, not aggregate, but demand at those levels, were not meeting their capacity or the supply at that point. So advertising would cost, let's say, a couple million, 5 million, whatever you want to run. By the way, they should do a Super Bowl ad. I think that'd be pretty epic. $5 million, and see if that increases your order book by 10,000 cars, 20,000 cars. How many more orders do you get from running those ads? I think there's a way. Tesla is a data-driven company. They could run metrics on this. All you need nowadays is Google Analytics, and you can run a lot of reports based on this. So, yes, agreed. Twitter ads is a conflict of interest. By the way, if anyone wants to come on, debate, talk, give their comments about this, I'm going to throw the StreamYard link in the chat here. Feel free to come on. A lot of good discussion here about ads. T. Nelly says, why not open a contest for influencers to produce marketing promos? Offer a new Model Y for the winner. Tesla Brass picks top 10 videos and social media picks the winner. Top 10 videos will go viral. I just don't think I think that's a good idea. I think they'd probably not, it wouldn't be just open to influencers. What is an influencer, right? I think they would open up to the general public for a free Model Y for marketing promo. But it just doesn't seem like that's really up Tesla's MO usually. It's not really their MO to do stuff like this, like guerrilla marketing type stuff. I think it's a good idea though. But you know what the funny thing is? I mean, people already make marketing material for Tesla today, right? If I do a Tesla Model 3 review video, I mean, it's not like I'm getting paid from anything related to Tesla on it. It's just doing it out of the fun, out of my own heart to want to spend time to do it, right? It's not like Tesla is incentivizing me to do that, or X influencer that, you know, there's millions of views on those Tesla Model 3, Tesla Model Y review, or, you know, I spent 90 days in my model, you know, these are already garnering the general attention of people out there. Randy says Jim run ads and they're almost broke. Well, I mean, not all ads are alike, I will say. Oh yeah, the good old iPace for sure. 142.27 said on Tesla up 6.7% on the day. Oh, yes. Hey, you're getting ahead of it, Bradford. Calling dibs already on the 142.69. Well, we'll do our Tesla closing price guessing game in 15 minutes. Maybe we're materially higher than that by then. Who knows? So Matt says, and this is a interesting question for us to debate, right? Matt says, why would he help mainstream media with advertising revenue? They were literally complicit in trying to bank Tesla. Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying run cable ads. In fact, I have no experience with running cable ads. I do have experience with running Google ads, YouTube ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. Pinterest is probably too niche, too much of a mob market for that to be a heavy duty Tesla network, let's say. But Google is by far the biggest advertising network out there. Running Google, YouTube, display, Performance Max, search, these don't cost mainstream media, or these don't make mainstream media anything. In fact, Sergey Brin is a friend of Elon, right? So if anything there, maybe there's some camaraderie there. Yeah, no kidding. Running ads will drop the stock. Well, you know what? I do agree with that sentiment a little bit. Immediately, Wall Street would be like, well, here's another expense that we have to tack on. 142.48 sitting on Tesla here, folks. Trying to see if we can close above this mysterious 140 level. Richards, how's it going? They should run a telemarketing campaign with Tesla bot. Oh, yikes. Yeah, Donald says, I would collect all the accident data and accident avoidance stories as a montage. Tesla safety. That's the type of ads that I'm talking about. You know, if you're a family man or woman, what's the most important thing to you other than safety? I mean, safety has to be the top priority for anyone that buys a car. Now, I get it. It's not always. I mean, cost has to be a function of that. Not a lot of people can just look at safety and just buy the most expensive thing out there. But that's the thing. It's like these Model Y, these recent price cuts really put it into the band of, let's say, a Camry even. Buying a new Camry and buying a Model 3, it's pretty much the same thing after maintenance, after the rebate, right? So Ross Gerber was looking specifically for 30-second Tesla adverts. Reckon he could afford a Super Bowl advert. I think a Super Bowl, okay. Let's do some research. Cost of Super Bowl ad. Let's just see what it pulls up. The average cost of a 30-second commercial during the Super Bowl increased from $37,000 from Super Bowl 1 to around $2.2 million in 2000. Wow, in 2000. Okay. Okay, in 2022, the cost has reached up to $7 million for a 30-second slot. $7 million bucks. Holy crap. Wow, SuperBowlAds.com. Check this out. Look at this site. Wow, that's insane. So in 2021, the cost of a 30-second ad slot on the Super Bowl was $6.5 million, and the average views was 101 million. Man, a lot of people watch football. Holy crap. My friend's been trying to get me into football recently. As you guys know, I'm just a hockey guy, but that is, look, 7 points, let's say $8 million, right? I'm not saying Tesla should do a Super Bowl campaign. You know, I'm not specifically vouching for that. I think there's better ways to run your money, especially if you're going to run an ad. But I mean, what's $7 million to a company that has 20 billion in cash? I mean, of course, don't buy Bitcoin with it, right? Like I'm not saying go buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin now, but I mean, it's testing, right? It's all about creating data. It's all about getting data and seeing how much of an effect it would have. People still watch TV apparently for football. I didn't realize how many hundreds of millions of people are watching football every Super Bowl. That's crazy. I guess that makes sense, right? Like even I'll turn on the Super Bowl for a little bit. Mark says they create info ads and distribute it for free. No need to run ads. Those advocating for seem to be in advertising. Ads are a big part, and Tesla is better without them. Well, how would they distribute it? That's my question, right? Ads are a method of distribution, and really, like I'm not saying they should run ads because I like ads and I run ads. That's not it. I do have some insight to share, but how would they distribute it, right? Advertising is all about distributing information to people at a certain time in a certain way. You can't force feed information to people organically. It just doesn't happen, right? I mean, unless you have some sort of a propaganda bot system up, like apparently Twitter did for a long time, right? Advertising is about delivering proper information to proper people at the proper time with perhaps a promotion, right? Like this sort of stuff. Rick says, if you're selling all you can make, what would advertising do? Well, I mean, that's the thing, Rick, is they weren't selling everything. That's why they lowered prices. If they could sell everything that they were going to make this year, they wouldn't have lowered prices last month, right? That's the whole thing, is if the price cuts cost Tesla X billions of dollars and marketing, let's say 5 or 10 million, let's see what the first order effect of that might be. Hadouken, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Let me just go down and find it. Remember last year when all the EV cars had commercials, but Google Trends showed Tesla spiked on Super Bowl Sunday? That's the thing. It's like, I guess you could make the argument they don't even need to because their competitors will, right? Thank you for the super chat, my friend. That Elon and Sergey story is not true. Elon has debunked that actually publicly. 141.90 sitting on Tesla. They should run ads at hockey. Well, you know what's funny, Robbie, is the number one ad I see during Hockey Night in Canada is the Hyundai EV ad. It's the WA ad. It's the number one ad I see for Hockey Night in Canada, and they're running it for the EV6 and the Nero, I think. Or no, sorry, what am I saying? It's the Hyundai Ioniq 5, I believe, right? That's the number one ad I see. Matt says sell Bitcoin on the balance sheet and use that for advertising. I mean, people forgot, but Tesla still has Bitcoin on their balance sheet, right? It still exists. So it still exists. Mark says YouTube, Twitter, the internet. Well, totally agree that organically Tesla does have reach. It's a matter of how do they get more reach? And if we know that the Super Bowl ads had an effect on Tesla's order book, and Tesla has essentially shown us that, then what's spending $5 million before you cut billions of dollars worth of price cuts, right? It's just about testing. If they run ads and there's no effect, they spend $5 million or whatever drop in the bucket they have for them, and there's zero effect, then that's fine. But further, you know, I'm not even really arguing, I would say, for the first order book effect. I'm saying the long-term brand reputation. Why is Volvo known for their safety, right? At the end of the day, I think Tesla could be known for even, of course, I think they should be, for even higher safety metrics than a Volvo. And it's all about brand reputation. We have a guest here, GH's Crunch, but I don't see They need to connect their mic and cam before you can add them. Okay, I'll wait on you coming in. By the way, oh, hold on. Maybe that comment. Come on stream, folks. Don't be shy. We got half an hour to hang out here. Any comments? You can debate me. I'll be wrong, probably. It's okay. Bradford says, I wonder if all the other car makers learned a lesson about Super Bowl ads. Yeah, I wonder if we even see any Super Bowl ads this year from them. The Hyundai Ioniq looks really cool, though. Yes, it does look nice. I mean, it's one of the more popular non-Teslas out here, actually. It's just, I think the waiting list is too long, though. How long does it take for ads to work? Price cuts are instant and don't build inventory. How long does it take ads to work? Probably an hour until you wait for them to get approved. I mean, Tesla has all the marketing material to start running campaigns. Al says, hey Ash, video idea. I keep hearing that owning a Tesla is cheaper than other cars, but when I run the numbers, it doesn't check. My RAV4 lease will mature end of year and would like to own a Tesla. Well, Al, have you been, first of all, accounting for, I'm sure you have been. I'm just going to go through the checklist. Maintenance. Maintenance is a big one, right? So no oil changes, no gasket problems, no air leaks, no insert timing belt stuff, nothing like that. Anything related to the engine. Are you also accounting for depreciation? Gas cars depreciate, have been, I know post-COVID has been a little bit weird, but gas cars pre-COVID depreciate substantially more than electric cars will. At least Teslas, I should say. So keep that in mind as a part of your calculation. Because if you could buy a car that depreciates half as much as a gas car, that also adds into your end of 5-year calculation. I guess for you as a lease owner, that might be, the math might be a little bit different there. I'm not great with lease math. I've never leased a car before. I don't really know how to run all the financing math on it. And charging, yeah, I mean, charging at home, of course, helps instead of supercharging, which I don't think you should be doing anyways, every single day. Is it possible, Jupiter says, that this is all just a fake out? Well, 142.45 sitting on Tesla. Remember, there's definitely a risk of this. And I say that because we're approaching on the daily, for the first time since September, we're approaching a key level on the super trend indicator, which you don't have to love. It's just something I follow. I like using the super trend indicator on different time metrics. And this level is quite, it's a hard level. It's a 140, it's what is it exactly? 140 essentially rounded up is the hard level. GHS Crunch, by the way, I see you in my lineup for guests, but I don't see that you've connected any devices. So if you want to come on, definitely come on. I encourage you, but I don't see you've connected any camera mic. So I can't actually pull you up, even if I wanted. So this 140 level is a level to watch for, and we have 20 minutes left here to close. So we'll close above it. Closing above it would be a great first step, but we might. I mean, we definitely need to have a continuation day past it too, I think, not just a 1 day break, because it's a hard level. Chat says, Farzad just put out a video showing that depreciation was less for a Toyota Camry. I'd have to watch Farzad's video on that. Is Farzad in the chat? Maybe you can come on. He's been running a lot of good math on Twitter as well with his charts that he's done, doing all the math. It's hard, right? Because Teslas have actually gone up in value, not now anymore maybe, but post-COVID, so the math has kind of been wonky. You guys know, I've always said on the channel, don't buy a freaking Tesla because you think it's going to go up in value. All it does is encourage scalpers. It increases wait times for everyone, and it floods the used market after. And definitely don't buy a Tesla thinking your car is going to hold whatever its value is for X amount of years. It's going to go down in value. You should have that as a baseline expectation. So Hadouken says the Ioniq is going through a major redesign for the 6 next year. Don't these year-to-year design upgrades add a monkey wrench to auto manufacturers in terms of manufacturing costs, parts, processes, etc.? They have to, but I think they're not at their final state yet. I think they've realized that there's a lot of fine tweaking to do, whether it be with heat management or battery management systems, that they're not at this level where they can just keep the car at where the car is in terms of design. So there's that. But of course it increases costs. I don't even think they're making these cars at a profit, right? Net. So how much can they really push these cars is the question, especially when price cuts come from Tesla like they have. Sandy Monroe had a great video on that. Let's see here. Oh, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself. I'm going to wait for it to load here. Hold on. Let me just pull this up. Thank you for joining. Boom. My friend Bradford, how's it going?
Going good.
I'm going to display your name for everyone to follow on Twitter. Go check out Bradford. He's the owner of Halter Ferguson Financial. Talks a lot of Tesla on Twitter. I'm sure more than half the audience, actually probably everyone, is familiar with your work. How's it going?
It's going good.
So thoughts on Tesla? Thoughts on the stock? Thoughts on a 6.5% up move? Does it not even feel that exciting to have a 7% update at this point?
Yeah, I think people are feeling relief in general. If you own too much Tesla, I think that's kind of how people are feeling, and I think that's fine. Gosh, I'd hate to be one of those people that took bad advice and did tax loss selling on Tesla, tried to harvest some kind of tax loss.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't even do that if I wanted. I bought in a tax-free account, and it sucked because I was like, "Damn, I'm down so much. I wish I could at least tax loss harvest something, whether it's options." And I just could. It sucked because it was a lot of it was well, not a lot of it, but some of it was options that I was like, "Damn, I can't even tax loss this." But actually, I was going to ask you on that note, when is the wash sale date? So when can people buy back in officially if they did?
31 days.
Okay, so we still got a couple of weeks or a weekish left.
And I did some math, and I actually found that you actually don't gain anything from tax loss selling the same security. So if you end up let's say selling Tesla when it's a $3 trillion market cap or 10 trillion or whatever, you're going to pay the same amount of gain either way. Just depending on when you initially entered Tesla. So the loss, it helps delay taxes, but it doesn't lower your total tax bill. You end up losing the same amount of shares to taxes, whether you do one or the other, if you're lucky enough to buy it back at the same price.
Right. And it seems like everyone is kind of asking a form of this question, right? Is this just a bear market rally that we're seeing? Have we found a bottom? And Boyle says this obviously depends on earnings and the Fed as well, but I want to get your thoughts on that. Where do you kind of see us in terms? Of course, a $40 rally off a $100 stock is massive in terms of 40%. Of course, in the grand scheme of things, it's not very exciting, but I want to get your thoughts on the kind of general macro market and where you think we are there.
Yeah, undoubtedly today people are calling this short covering rally, that kind of thing. But this is what we can see. I'm not calling this a bottom, but we can see this with bottoms where the stock just rallies on no new news. I think there were some positive statements in the court case today, some other small things, but nothing super material. And I don't view the court case as material. I'm expecting, if we don't have a bad recession, I'm expecting a rotation to quality growth stocks, and Tesla is one of them. They are profitable. They're rapidly growing profits. A lot of defensive stocks are way overpriced. If we were to pull some of them up on FinViz, the future earnings growth on Apple is less than 10%. Yeah. That's the 5-year growth on FinViz. That's just a neutral site. And yeah, Apple, you're paying a 25 or more PE or something like that.
Yeah. I do have it actually pulled up here. Yeah, revenue growth for Apple. I did this on a video. Revenue growth expected is 5.39% for next year. and their EPS for the next 3 to 5 year for CAGR is about 11% for Apple.
Yeah.
So when I made this, at least it was at 134. I made this last week, and their EPS next year is expected to be $6. That's about a forward P of 22 and a 2 peg, versus a 1 peg on a Tesla currently.
Yeah. And like, I think we all, or many of us, think that that projected earnings growth on Tesla is low. But like, even if you are conservative and go with that website, Tesla looks to be an incredible value. Certainly, it's volatile. And if you look at like Coke or like Procter and Gamble, it's even worse. Like what you're paying on the future price of earnings, what you're paying for $1 of earnings, versus the growth rate in those earnings. Like that's the reason why we own any stock, is for earnings and growth of that earnings. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm hopeful this year we'll see a rotation to growth and a rotation away from these like overpriced staple or defensive type stocks.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it was a great play though for last year. If you got in earlier pre-inflation, right? Like if you were forward looking enough and of course, but it does seem like we are really closer to the top of the Fed interest rates. Like it seems like 25 basis points on the table next FOMC, and then a real chance of a cutting happen. Like I think the bond market's pricing in a 2% cut, 1.8% cut by the end of this year, on Fed fund rates. Obviously, the Fed can go past that and go delusional and continue to keep it higher and kind of break the market, so to speak. But at least that's what the bond market's trying to say to us at the moment.
I wouldn't quite expect that of the Fed, but I'm optimistic that they'll get the memo within the next 3 months or so, by April, by the latest. That's my optimism. We're seeing the decline in used car prices. Tesla's leading the way on new car prices going down. Housing, we're seeing a big decline. The Fed's closely watching lease renewals on people's apartments, things like that. And those take a while to flow through. And I kind of wish the Fed would look at, the current data on housing, that kind of thing, where, it's the data is not as favorable for the economy.
Yeah, housing is always going to lag, right? At the end of the day, it's going to take time to flow through. So I see everyone guessing their Tesla closing price guesses in the chat. Thank you for doing that. Throw your guess in if you haven't already. Remember, Price is Right rules. You have to be at or under to win the virtual Juju prize, which I'll throw at you through the camera. We have our awesome guest here, Bradford, and I want you to guess as well first, prior to me, so I can screw you over with my guess.
Well, I called dibs on 142.69.
Oh, that's right.
Whoever wants to take it with me, go ahead. We can all pile on that price if you want.
So I'm gonna go 144 on the dot, just so I can keep it simple. I mean, what's 70 cents, right? Between friends. So it's okay. Now, by the way, I see Grace here in the chat. Also, Grace, if I see that you wanted to join as a guest, but I don't see your devices connected in here. If you want to refresh, try again. Feel free to. Bradford and I can take your question. And thank you, Matt, as well, for telling me about Google Finance Formula. I just plugged that in, so it's now official data here. Let's talk. So we talked about macro. I want to get your thoughts on the EV credit. Someone asked me this actually in the chat. They said, or one of the Say Technology questions were around how much of the $35 per kilowatt hour for assembling, or $3,700 for whatever Inflation Reduction Act credit Tesla was going to get. Are we not sure about just yet? Like, what's still in the air with that?
Yeah. So I think it was around November, Panasonic said on their call that they're saying with Giga Nevada that they're getting the $35 a kilowatt hour, and that So they started a call out to like a $1.2 billion number or something on their earnings for starting in next year. So I don't know if they disputed the legality of them signing over all their tax credits for that factory to Tesla. It's pretty standard for supplier contracts. Or I don't know if they just used it as a point of negotiation for Tesla.
I see.
Maybe they said, hey, if you give it to us on this factory, then we'll build a factory in Kansas. Or not only will we build the factory in Kansas, but we'll also do another one in Oklahoma. So that's in dispute, and we'll see what happens with that. Matt Smith made a really good point in that Tesla has these tax loss carry forwards. So for them to get these tax credits, they really can't use them a whole lot. But I'm optimistic they'll get 4680 ramp this year, where it'll fulfill one line at Austin. So there's two lines reportedly. One of them's 2170, one's 4680, and they're mainly ramping the 2170 batteries from Panasonic. I'm hopeful that if they keep doubling production of 4680 every 3 months or so, that they'll be able to fully ramp that second line in Texas if they can find enough people to work that line. And then next year, they'll be able to send 4680s to Berlin. So we'll see what happens with that.
Do you think they're going to send it to Berlin, or wasn't there a 4680 line that was supposed to be set up there?
Yeah. Maybe they just copy and paste the blueprint over and start going. There is a benefit to making in the U.S. though. So
right. That's true.
But I don't know if they have to. I think they have to sell the batteries eventually. So if they sell the cars in Europe, but batteries they made in the U.S., I'm not sure how that works.
That's true. And as for the tax loss credits, I mean, there's a good chance. I mean, I think we've all been trying to think like every quarter four. It's supposed to happen for the last couple of years now, or the last couple of quarters at least, and it hasn't happened. It really does feel like this would be the quarter if they're gonna recognize all those tax losses to finally use up those credits for ending 2022. No,
they wouldn't be able to. So it's the tax loss carry forwards. They call them NOLs, and Tesla's main cost base is in the U.S. So they have their headquarters in the U.S. They have a lot of engineering in the U.S. They have their skunk works in the U.S. And when you line that up against the revenues and the profits in the U.S., they kind of cancel out. Now, Giga Austin is starting to ramp on the profit side and should be pretty strongly profitable. But I'm not sure if there's quite enough profits in coming out of Austin yet for them to like begin to trigger that in a big way. But it should be coming soon. Like they can use them along the way. I don't think they have to like trigger them with the big splash or whatever. I'm not a big corporate accountant though.
Right. Yes. But you are I think you are a CPA, right? Or am I wrong?
I'm a chartered financial analyst, charter holder.
CFA. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. That's a good point, because a lot of their higher up corporate white tower costs are going to be in US. And of course, we know Shanghai is the most profitable, but Fremont should be getting up there as well, at least last year with the efficiency that they've had. But that's a good point. I didn't think about that. So now, as we sit here at $143, what's your current? I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Do you have a current EPS, adjusted EPS for this fiscal year that you're kind of eyeballing to look in between?
So I met with Matt Smith recently, and
we're going to be an awesome margin video.
Yeah,
everyone should go watch that.
Yeah, and what was cool about that video is Monroe and Associates, they had this rant about the Model Y margins, and Matt's cost of goods sold on the Model Y was like within $1,000 of what Monroe was saying. So they weren't ranting about our our napkin math, so to speak. So I think we're looking around $5 a share in earnings, maybe a little more than that. We are going to be releasing, this will be after the Tesla earnings, about a 10-page stock analyst report. It'll be kind of like a Wall Street style report. And we'll be releasing that to the public sometime after earnings. So Matt's been working on that. That's
awesome. So $5-ish bucks. I mean, it's sitting at 100, it's kind of insane. Talk about the forward growth that Wall Street has now pretty much discounted off of Tesla. Like, they really don't think, like Morgan Stanley, for example, Adam Jonas, I'm not sure if you saw his most recent note. He's projecting EPS to fall this fiscal year from 2022 by 30 cents. I think he's projecting a $3.99 adjusted EPS this 2022 fiscal year. After we get the Q4 report, and he's projecting 2023 fiscal year to close at around $3.70 EPS. So, I mean, Wall Street's at the point now where they're saying not only is the volume growth going to slow by, it's going to be only 20 or 30%, they're saying EPS is going to fall as well. And that's because of the price cuts, I'd imagine.
But before the demand worries in China, they were already projecting very low earnings for next year. And one of the things that was weird about Morgan Stanley is they have some kind of saying where it's like an AI generated earnings estimate or something like that, computer generated. So that seemed kind of strange. Right. Morgan Stanley's always had this thing in their mind where they expect like Tesla's business to revert to some kind of mean with their earnings estimates or with their sales in China. There was one time in 2019 where Adam Jonas came out and said that the most cars Tesla would sell in China in a year was going to be 71,000. They did that in a month this summer, last summer. So I think they're just a little too skeptical and cautious. That's just my opinion.
It's so funny, Bradford, because they are, but at the same time, they're releasing notes on the eVTOL and how that's going to be a big portion. Tesla's like jetpacks are going to be a big portion of their growth story in 2030. So it's like, it's like hard to. It's like I have no problem with, of course, being consistent and saying, look, Tesla is not going to grow volumes, and this is what's going to happen this year. And it's anyone's really guess. I mean, no one would have guessed what happened last year. But I mean, it's kind of like talking out of both sides of your mouth when you say like Tesla's technology is boring and it sucks and, margins are going down, but they're also going to have jetpacks by the year of 2030. It's just, to me, it's funny that way. So
stock is pushing up toward your number, 143,
I know.
79, 80, 1,
I
2,
I really 4. Hope I don't win because people are going to be upset if I win. 143.84 sitting on Tesla at the moment. City's asking Bradford.
Price, people.
Definitely not. It doesn't feel like a Friday, or pardon me, it doesn't feel like a Monday. It feels like a Friday. Cindy's asking your thoughts on the Lathrop visit.
And you said it correctly. That's great. That's what I learned in California, how to say it correctly. So what I saw there was they were making or carting away about 5 megapacks a day. And that was kind of what I was hoping for and expecting. Wishing for a lot more, and what that rate of production would mean is about a 8 gigawatt hour per year run rate. So that would be I think it would be an improvement on the third quarter. So is about what I expected. I'm curious to see if it was slow because of some kind of lack of batteries coming from China, because they had a huge COVID wave that started in the middle of December and kind of continued to the Chinese New Year. So I'm wondering if exiting the Chinese New Year, if they'll be getting more batteries and if that rate of production will step up. And it's possible I caught them on like a slow day, but they definitely were not pumping out 25 a day when I was there.
Yeah, well, they've said like they have the capability to do so, but everyone's reading into that as if it's already happening. And not only is it already happening, it's happening at a 50% gross margin day one.
Yeah.
Right. like these are, of course, it's exciting for us to talk about, and I really hope we're both wrong in that sense, where it is secretly happening, and these margins are huge. But of course, it's a sleeping giant. All factories do take time to ramp, don't they?
Yeah, every factory has a ramp, even if it's more simple. People have this idea that the mega packs are just like some brick or something, and that they just they just poop them out the factory or something. Like there's a lot of technology that goes into them, and like you can't have it both ways. Like people are saying, well, it's a commodity, it's easy to produce, but then they're saying, well, Tesla's mega pack is awesome, it's got all this software and great hardware. Like it can't be both, like a commodity and like super awesome on the technology. We'll just see what happens. I hope that they're able to ramp it soon, but I'm kind of expecting that it'll be more toward the end of the year, hopefully, as far as like getting that factory fully ramped. But I'm guessing like that it'll start to help on margins pretty soon. If not now, then in maybe next quarter, start to help on margins.
And so you're not projecting in too much, it sounds like, earnings coming from energy this year, no,
I think there'll be earnings. I just don't think they're at 25 a day right now. And I'm skeptical that they're at 40 gigawatt hour run rate right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? I wanted to get your thoughts on Jim Chanos. Have you seen Jim Chanos's anti-energy Q Tesla Twitter thread, I should say, about energy? Did you see that?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I didn't see his thread. I heard about it.
Okay.
He's basically saying it's impossible that the market would be that big. And I mean, has he not been paying attention to the GE's disastrous acquisition of natural gas peaker plants? Like when they bought Alstom, they bought a bunch of natural gas peaker plants, and one of the first things they had to do was abandon them because they were not a good deal. Like they had to abandon one in Arizona and another one in California, and they're getting replaced with battery storage. We're not paying attention to this. Like just the market alone for Megapack helping with these peaker plants, it is a bunch of low-hanging fruit that's going to be bigger than the market that Jim Chanos thinks it can have. So I think he's missing the boat.
Yeah, I'm really excited about energy because, I mean, that's really when you start, like everyone that says, oh, Tesla's just an auto business and 90% of their revenue come from auto. Fair enough. It's hard to come back at that point. But of course, software is going to be a big part of the story with Tesla FSD and Tesla Bot eventually. But it feels like energy is just around the corner to having material margins come up. And the credits are really going to be beneficial for Tesla as we move forward here on that as well.
The big exciting thing is that Wall Street essentially has it as a zero. So if Tesla makes it otherwise, then it should be a significant catalyst. For
sure. Shout out to Luke Frisbee for guessing the same also as Michael. Hold on. What's Michael's last name here? I want to get it right. Hold on. I probably should have had it pulled up here before. Michael, anyways, I'll find your last name. He's a Juju Gang member. Both of you guys guessed 143.69 on Tesla to close. And no one guessed in the 70s. And everyone that guessed in the 70s was over by even a penny. So that's our
price is wrong.
Price is wrong. And you know what's crazy, Bradford, is volume is 200 million shares traded today. Could you get that? Could you believe that?
That's a lot. It legitimately warms my heart that retail was a net buyer like this whole time in Tesla. Not just because I own it, and that's not financial advice to other retail, but like, retail does not appear to have sold Tesla low. So like the little guy is winning. So I think it's incredibly exciting and heartwarming. Yeah, great.
Yes, this one, right? Yeah, I actually had this pulled up today. And I was actually going to make this comment about this graph. And by the way, this graph is essentially saying retail tech basket has been lowering, aka retail has stopped buying the dip here recently, with the exception being Tesla, who retail continues to buy the dip on. And I wanted to say, it seems like how much of this graph is probably just attributable to Kogo and Leo. Like it just seems like, he's a retail investor, like he's buying, like it seems like half of the data on this graph is probably just him with the amount of volume that he's buying apparently. So
yeah, so is it net buying of about 2.7 billion? Yeah, so Kogo and Leo probably bought like at least $1 billion of that, if not, close to 2 billion.
yeah.
But that also means like the rest of retail wasn't selling. So that's a great point.
Right. I was, yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I actually don't know how they find this data as well. Do you know the methodology behind, like, how accurate is this?
I don't know. I don't know if Schwab and Fidelity are sharing that.
Right.
They could be measuring that.
Because the source is Vanda Research, and nothing against Vanda Research. I actually don't really care about them too much. But when it says research, I wonder if that's just surveys done with large enough sample sizes from investors from different pools, and they're just estimating based on this. Because, for me, I don't know.
So.
You don't think so? Okay.
Yeah, but it's a good question. I don't think so. It's too definite of a number for them to show it like this. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, my friend, for joining me. I'll let you go here now. Thanks for joining on Power Hour. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit subscribe on your way out. Go subscribe to Bradford's channel as well. Do you want to plug your stuff?
Sure. On YouTube, we're Halter Ferguson Financial. We have a very nerdy 38-minute video on Tesla margins where we look at Q1 and we look at Tesla's cost of goods sold by model, by region, and by where the sale is made, and try and figure out where my margins go in Q1. And we did have some good news.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everyone should go watch that if you haven't already, and go subscribe where you're checking it out as well. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I appreciate you coming on ad hoc here randomly on a random awesome Monday as Tesla closes up 7%.
Yep. Bye for now.
Take care, everyone. Peace.